Andrew Tate indicted in Romania, and there's been a lot of strange information flying around about this case, so I wanted to take us directly to a Romanian press release. But let's take a look at what the news here tells us actually happened. This comes over from the Washington Post. They tell us that Andrew Tate and his brother were indicted on charges of the art and human trafficking as well. You see, this is a prior photo from earlier this year when they were in court in Bucharest, Romania. Both Andrew Tate and his brother. Romanian prosecutors announced via their press release, we're going to read through the actual release, telling us that internet personality Andrew Tate and his brother indicted. Charges on human trafficking, the R, and forming an organized crime group. The indictment marks the end of a criminal investigation into Tate. Prosecutors said that there were a number of people that were exploited, but the legal team for the Tate brothers is already responding. So they described the move as being, quote, undoubtedly predictable, and they vowed to, quote, demonstrate their innocence and vindicate their reputation, the team said in a statement, saying, quote, the indictment now allows us to present a comprehensive body of evidence, diligently collected and prepared over time, which will undoubtedly substantiate the brothers' claims of innocence. Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate, two Romanian female associates, were previously arrested in December, held in preventive detention. They were moved to house arrest in March. Prosecutors said the four formed a crime group in human trafficking in, here we go, Romania, Britain, and the United States. So here is where we get curious in this case. Is this going to be the same type of saga as a Julian Assange saga, where we go from one country to the UK to the United States over a long period of time? That has been something where Julian Assange has been on warrant status for years. Remember, he was in Ecuador in their embassy for a long time before being moved over to the UK, where he's been exhausting his appeals. Now he's going very likely to be coming back to the United States, where the warrant will be quashed. So prosecutors say the four formed a crime group for human trafficking. Is the United States behind this? The injured persons were recruited by foreign nationals, they say. One of the suspects is charged with the R in relation to two incidents in March 2022. Now, these court documents that were previously seen by the Washington Post said that Tate was being investigated for two of these incidents involving a Moldovan woman he is alleged to have trafficked from London. Lawyers for Tate have argued in closed court sessions that all of this intercourse was consensual, and documents have text messages saying that they were lured into Romania. Now, apparently, the prosecutors in Romania have got their hands on tons of assets. A hearing during which the details of the indictment will be communicated will be held on Wednesday, according to their lawyers. Tates are planning to attend in person. During the same hearing, the judge is expected to discuss whether further detention is necessary. The indictment, the document itself, has not been made public yet. Trying to get our hands on it. And I was trying to see if we could actually get the document and translate it into English so we could see how their courts work, and we're going to continue to see if we can get our hands on the document. But this comes over from DICOT, D-I-I-C-O-T, which is a Romanian entity that focuses on international trafficking. And you can see this is the press release directly from the Romanian government. We'll go through it. First, I want to make sure it's properly translated into English, since I don't speak Romanian. And here's what they tell us. Following press releases previously issued in these cases in 2022 and January 2023, the Information and Public Relations Bureau within the Directorate for Investigating Organized Crime and Terrorism, that's DICOT, D-I-O-C-T, is empowered to bring to the attention of the public the following. They tell us that there was an indictment dated June 15th, 2023. Prosecutors for the Directorate of DICOT Central Structure ordered the prosecution of 4 defendants. They don't give us names here, but we know who they are. 2 persons with dual citizenship, British and American, presumably the Tate brothers, and 2 Romanian citizens, for committing crimes of setting up an organized criminal group, human trafficking in continuous form. Each defendant is currently detained. 4 material acts, 3 material acts, 6 material acts, 5 material acts in relation to the number of injured persons. And remember, this is all translated, so I don't know if this is good translation or bad. It's auto-translated. They call it the R in continuous form, 2 counts of that. Illegal access to a computer, probably another count. Alteration of the integrity of a computer, maybe another count. Instigation to hit other violence or hitting with other violence. In the case, the government says, from Romania, it was noted that at the beginning of 2021, the 4 defendants constituted a criminal group organized to commit on the territory territory of Romania, but also other states, such as the United States of America and the United Kingdom. The crime of human trafficking, okay? So it's coming back to the United States. The aggrieved persons were recruited by foreign citizens, the victims alleged, by misleading them, saying the Tate brothers misled them about the intention to establish a marriage and cohabitation relationship and the existence of real feelings of love, the lover boy method. They were subsequently transported and sheltered in buildings in Ilfov County, where by exercising acts of physical violence and mental coercion, through intimidation, through constant surveillance, through control and invoking alleged debts, they were exploited by members of the group by forcing them into doing videos and manifestations in order to produce and disseminate through social media platforms materials of such character. The 7 injured persons, all right, so that's a lot. That's like a lot of victims who presumably are going to be coming forward with testimony on this. The 7 injured persons identified during the investigation were subjected to forced labor in order to obtain financial benefits, consisting of the amounts of money collected as a result of accessing the materials by the users of the platform. Of the 7 injured persons who were exploited by the organized group, 3 were civil parties to the criminal proceedings. 3 were civil parties to the criminal proceedings. I don't know what that translation means, but maybe there were civil lawsuits or something. Now, regarding the crime of the R, it was noted that in March 2022, an aggrieved person, one of the victims, was coerced by one of the defendants by using physical violence and mental pressure to repeatedly have intercourse, okay, over 2 different acts. Regarding the crimes of illegal access to the computer system, that was in March 2022. So this is recent, right? So I mean, these are like recent victims. It was noted that in March 2022, an aggrieved person was coerced by exerting violence and mental pressure to have intercourse. And, you know, there were some allegations that maybe these were old charges, but that is not old. So they should have a person, right? There should be a victim here. Regarding the crimes of illegal access to the computer and alteration of the integrity of the computer data, they say October 2021, one of the defendants accessed without rights the computer systems belonging to one of these victims, posted on the social media account belonging to her the materials he obtained in this way, which depicted her in compromising situations. Regarding the crimes of instigation to hit or other violence, it was noted that October 2021, in order to, quote, punish one of these injured persons who refused to continue to make these materials and requested to leave, at the instigation of one of the defendants, another defendant exerted acts of violence and injured the person. So what I'm presuming they're saying happened is, you know, the Tates had these other 2 enforcers, and so the Tates would then make an order to the enforcer to go in and do the thing. Now, the indictment requested the confiscation of several movable and immovable assets seized. So look at all this money that they're going to just gobble up. 15 plots of lands and buildings located in various counties, 15 luxury cars, 14 luxury watches, 2 bars and a medal, shares held in 4 companies, amounts of 86,000 lei, 52,000 euros, 17 grand in USD, 10,000 pounds of sterling, 21 Bitcoin, baby. Not 21 million, as somebody reported on the media, as we're going to hear. Existing in cryptocurrency wallets, about 300 grand, 384 million in this currency, as well as ordering the defendants to pay legal expenses advanced by the state in the amount of the Romanian currency, $300,000. Whew. So you love when the government just comes in. Over there, I'm guessing they don't have the presumption of innocence, as we fortunately pretend we have here. And they just gobbled up. Look at all of that asset. Man, the government, they can come in and really just take anything they want. Also, the notification document ordered the dissolution of the case regarding money laundering, favoring the perpetrator, influencing statements, trafficking in minors, trafficking in persons. They say this is being brought under the provisions of this law. It's proposed to maintain house arrest ordered against the 4 defendants. This will be proceeding forward in the Bucharest Tribunal. Oh, they do have the presumption of innocence. Look, so please note that this stage in the criminal process represents, according to the Code of Criminal Procedure, the completion of the criminal investigation, so they're done, and the sending of the indictment to the court for a trial, a situation that cannot in any way defeat the principle of the presumption of innocence. So shout out to the presumption of innocence, even in Romania. Amazing. What we see here is a pretty serious set of charges, and they've got the UK looking at them, the Tate brothers. They've got, I'm imagining, the United States looking at them, and the questions are always about why and timing, and And why were these guys apparently allowed to get away with this cam stuff for so long, and suddenly they show up on everybody's radars? One lawyer on Twitter had an interesting comment. His name is Joseph D McBride. He's on Twitter. He said, very curious, the U.S. Department of Justice and the Romanian government coordinated the breaking news of Hunter Biden's guilty plea and Andrew Tate's indictment to suppress the Hunter Biden story. Andrew Tate's an American citizen. We will fully utilize the Constitution to protect Cobra Tate, says Joseph D. McBride. And, the question is he being properly prosecuted, or is he being targeted and singled out because of some of the things he talks about and some of the following that he has built that challenges the status quo? Tristan Tate reported this on Twitter, says, the criminal indictment states that in 2021 they formed a gang with the purpose of kidnapping people. He says the cam studio closed 4 years prior to this, and the alleged 7 victims, many of which are totally on our side, he says. How many of them do you think worked for my webcam studio? That's from Tristan Tate, the brother. So we always have questions about this, and U.S. prosecutors extend their tentacles into various other countries and various other parts of the world. And something happened in this situation because, man, it felt like a light switch went off, and the Tristan Tate, Andrew Tate family came under the scrutiny of the international cabal. And what was so interesting about this is you could basically read through this, and you could go through the Hunter Biden laptop and tease out a very similar set of allegations. How many different pictures and videos are on the Hunter Biden laptop that show him doing things that are physically violent or are mentally coercive through intimidation, exploiting people? Was there any exploitation happening in the Hunter Biden laptop? Was there any manifestations of videos that were disseminated across Hunter's platforms? I think so. This is obviously a different country, and it's a different individual, and it's a different system of justice. But we see some people, no matter where you turn in this country, in this world, are part of a favored class. You can be a pal of Jeffrey Epstein, do whatever you want that's exploitive and abusive, and not even be brought to light at all. But if you're Andrew Tate and there's allegations, they say, they deny, they deserve the presumption of innocence. They say that these so-called victims are on their side. And the media loves to see somebody that a lot of people follow fall. Here are some of the mistakes they're making in their reporting.
Romanian authorities, very interestingly also here, they detail this. The money that they say they wanted to seize included 52,500 euros, $17,000, £10,000, but also over 21 million Bitcoin. For those of you who have followed the value of Bitcoin, that works out as nearly $400 million.
21 million Bitcoin. For all you Bitcoiners out there, that's amazing. Did you know that Andrew Tate owns all of it, literally all of it?
They say they want to seize from the Tate brothers. Now, why this?
So obviously those numbers are bad. It doesn't add up. 21 million Bitcoin times $28,000 would be $588 billion. And that obviously is not what Andrew Tate has. So my friends, this is a curious one. I think it's probably just the beginning of a long battle for the Tate brothers as they are prosecuted there in Romania, maybe going back to the UK, maybe coming back here to the United States. Of course, we'll keep our eye on this one. Thank you, my friends, for continuing to subscribe and like this video wherever it is you're watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.